The vampire and villagers task is over now, but it doesn't even matter because the whole house is going to end up in basic rations because of guess who? Lily. How people can continue to defend her actions is beyond me. Big Brother UK, Halloweek, Eviction Night 2, and the vampires won the task. But actually, nobody really won the task because they're a selfish, egotistic child. As soon as Big Brother told them that if the other half of the house ate the food, the whole house would be punished and they would all be on basic rations, I thought, well, what's the point? What's the point in sitting down, writing up the list, going into the diary room, telling them what you want, getting the food delivered, putting it away? Because we all know what's going to happen. It was so blatantly obvious. It was time to nominate, and usually face-to-face noms are my absolute favourite, but there was quite a lot of cop-outs this year, and I don't know why Big Brother's allowing it. But Ali went first. She voted for Marcello and Hannah. I felt like she gave valid reasons, and she was honest. Khaled voted for Nathan and Lily. Not really surprised there. I also think that his reasons were valid. Emma voted for Hannah and Dean. Now, I can understand why she voted for Hannah after her behaviour as the villager the other day. However, when she voted for Dean and she says he's missing his partner, at one point you weren't allowed to vote for somebody because they wanted to go home or you thought they weren't having a good time there or whatever. You had to give a more valid reason. And I think that it was a total cop-out. It shouldn't have been allowed. Big Brother should have stepped in. Thomas voted for Lily and Baked Potato. I felt like he was kind of holding back on Lily a little bit, but she was getting upset, so maybe that's why. He is the only one who mentioned anything about her hygiene, and he said, oh, you have been behaving the past week, but other people are saying, oh, you've been great the past couple of weeks. It's literally been 2 episodes. So at a push, it would have been a week, but Lily's going about going, oh, I've been behaving for the past few weeks. I know that time seems different in there, but the few weeks, for fuck's sake. He also voted for Baked Potato, which should not have been allowed. Since when have you been allowed to vote for somebody because you think everybody in the house likes them and they're not going to go? That's not how nominations work. Dean voted for Marcello and Sarah. No surprise there. Even if he did want to vote for anybody else, he probably wouldn't have, because as they always say in other Big Brothers, he didn't want to get more blood on his hands and he'd already done the damage with them yesterday. Shagan voted for Nathan and Lily. Bless him. He's so cute. You can tell that he's really feeling bad and he's trying to give an honest reason, but he's also like, oh, much love and all that, because he feels so terrible. And this boy is living in fear in this house. Anytime people are arguing or there's any drama or Lily's screaming, you can actually see the fear on him. He's obviously not used to living with people who are so dramatic, but I actually felt so bad for him. It was a shame. So the housemates up for eviction were Nathan, Hannah, Lily and Marcello, and Emma decided to swap Nathan for Dean. Were we surprised? Not really. Lily was upset because she says she was scared to leave the house, and Ali was comforting her, and I thought, she's just being a good friend, she's trying to make her feel better. But then when I heard what she was saying to her, I was like, no. Well, she was saying, don't let anybody make you think that you have to change your personality. Okay, fine. Maybe she doesn't find her screaming annoying, maybe she finds her childish behaviour acceptable for a 20-year-old. That's fine. But her selfishness is out of control, and we've seen even more at the end of the episode. And the fact that she's pandering to this is absolutely insane to me. If one of my friends was that selfish, I would tell them straight. And my friends would do exactly the same, because that's what friends do. But the fact that she's seen how selfish she is, the fact that she's seen how unhygienic she's been when she's living in a house of strangers is bizarre to me. Lily was in the diary room crying, and I've said this in many of my other videos, but if I ever meet somebody who doesn't have a lot of friends or doesn't have anybody to speak to, I am that person. I'm like, oh, you can come out for lunch with me, you can come out with me and my friends, because the thought of somebody having nobody, literally just, it kills me. And when Lily was in the diary room a couple of weeks ago and she was saying, oh, I don't have a lot of friends, even I was crying. But I've now got to the point where I'm like, I can see why. Because you can't be friends with somebody who's so self-absorbed. It's as if other people around her don't even exist. She was saying, oh, I thought when I came into the house I was fun and I didn't think I was being annoying. Let's flash back to night 1 when she came in squealing. Aye, okay, she was excited. Everybody gets excited. But when they get put into the storage room and she was screaming, she was singing, she was standing up, just counting random things, and even Emma took it to the side at one point. There was a fly trying to attack me there. Even Emma took it to the side at one point and says, are you going to shut up soon? People are trying to sleep. And on night one, I even said, why didn't they just tell her? Because she obviously doesn't realise that she's doing anything wrong. And this is the problem. They've treated her like a child since day one. And now it's starting to backfire. Well, it's been backfiring for a while, but they've all been too straight bags to say anything to her. Now, I love a bit of drama in the Big Brother house, but even I don't like to see people cry. And I did feel bad for her. But I thought to myself, see if she'd actually sit and take time to think about her actions, she would realise why she's up for eviction. But it's impossible for her because that would mean that she would have to think outside her own self. And that place just doesn't exist. Baked Potato and Nathan were speaking to Lily on the couch, and Baked Potato was asking if she was upset because she was nominated or because they all nominated her. And she says it was because they were saying that she was behaving and they were the same age as her, and basically they had a cheat because they were patronising her. And I was like, she's the one who's been acting like a child since day one. At least they consider other people. She now wants to be treated like an adult because it's convenient for her. But if she wanted to be treated like an adult, she wouldn't be acting the way she has this whole time. Nathan is the most two-faced person in that house. As we know, he's always sitting upstairs looking at the board going, game player, fake, fake, fake. And then he goes and talks to everybody. But just the other day, when she took Ali's call, him and Sarah were bitching about her in the hall and going, oh my God, she's such a child. She's 20 years old. There's no need for this behaviour. But then he panders to her. And then he's sitting going, yeah, people do treat you like a child. Aye, people do, including him. Nathan and Baked Potato were on the bed kissing, and Nathan was basically telling Baked Potato that he was falling in love with her. And a lot of people think that this relationship's fake, and I actually do think it's real, but the only thing that I had a problem with is the way he sits and like holds her face, and when she turns her face away, like pulls it over. Just a personal preference. I don't like people to like force my face over to them like that, but maybe she's not bothered. You know, it's probably not even a big deal, but I just hate people like holding on to me like that. They received a shot at him and Thomas instantly had the Biscoff spread. He knew what was going to happen. Everybody knew what was going to happen. This is why I probably would have went into the diary room and says, let's not waste our time doing the shopping this week because Lily's in the house and we're going to get everything took away. So he had the spread and then he took the chocolate into the room and he was like, let's not flex this, right? So he was like putting it under people's beds and that, and he went and gave Emma chocolate and Lily was like, oh, I seen that. As if he did it out of malice. Like, he was only giving her a chocolate. Calm the fuck down, hen. So he went and put Carla's chocolate under his bed, and she was talking to Baked Potato and Nathan, and she's like, oh, I'm going to go and steal his chocolate, and they were like, oh, go and do it, like, as if it's a joke, right? Now, I know that people will be like, oh, it's just a bit of fun, she's just hiding his stuff. Do not go into somebody's personal space. Like, she could have went under his bed, she could have found medication, she could have found anything that he didn't want people to see. I can't stand it when people go into other people's like wardrobes, drawers and all that without them knowing. It's really bizarre to me. So she took the chocolate out and started eating it. I don't even know how long they had the shopping for. It was probably minutes. So they were fucked straight away. And the rest of the house I thought were quite calm about it. But when they were speaking about it at the table and Thomas and Lily were in an argument and he's like, you're selfish. And she was like, oh no, I'm not selfish. You're the same age as me and you're patronising me. And I was just like, oh my God. He brought up the hygiene thing again. He's the only one who's been bringing it up. And she is just so selfish. But because she'd already ate the chocolate, Marcello was taking a bit of chicken. And he says, oh, I better not now. And then Sarah says, oh, it's okay. Me and Nathan had a bit of pizza. It's fine. So because Lily had that chocolate, they were all like, oh, well, fuck it. It's already fucked. We might as well all just eat the food. I literally never usually do this, right? But Lily's behaviour was just so fucking shocking to me. And the British public have got a habit of rewarding stupidity and bad behaviour, like bullies, like Helen Wood, for example. I'm not going to make the next video 10 minutes long, but I just want to finish what I was going to say about this episode, so if you're interested, I'm going to make a part 2 right now. Did anyone else feel uncomfortable while watching Dean's interview, or was it just me? Big Brother UK Halloweek Eviction 2 Part 2. I don't usually do part 2s, but Lily just really got to me last night. When Lily was at the table arguing with Khaled and Thomas, she said, you're patronising me because you're the same age as me and you're telling me I've behaved for the past few weeks. It's been 2 episodes. Not a few weeks. Nathan had the audacity to say, yeah, you do treat her like a child, when everybody in the house does it. And the only person who's actually sat her down and tried to have a conversation with her was Hannah. When Khaled was talking to Lily about taking the chocolate from under his bed, he was saying, "You're selfish. Anytime we get closer, you end up doing something like this, and you shouldn't have been going through my stuff." Totally calm. If that had been me, I'd have been like, "Why the fuck are you under my bed? Why are you touching my stuff? Don't be rifling through my shit." Like, it's the height of ignorance. But yeah, everything that she does is ignorant, so I'm not even surprised. She still sat there and tried to defend herself because she thinks that she's always in the right. And I didn't understand why Emma was sitting there, not saying anything. She's been sitting saying this stuff about Lily for weeks. But she's just sitting there watching Lily shout at Tom and Khaled as if they're the ones with the problem. The vote's closed, and I must admit, I'm not really a fan of this format where you've only got like 10 minutes or one episode to vote, because there's a lot of people who didn't get to watch it when it's on, so they didn't even get a chance to vote, so the votes don't really reflect the feelings of the public. Like when Martha went out, a lot of people didn't even know that had happened. If I hadn't watched the Late and Live show, I would have watched it the next night, like, what the hell's going on? So people are commenting on other social media platforms that the argument between Lily, Khaled and Tom happened after the votes closed. Was that by accident? Like, surely more people would have voted for Lily if they'd have seen that. Well, you would think that, but as I'm always saying, the UK public are always supporting stupidity and selfishness, so it probably really wouldn't have made a difference. At this point, everybody's sitting round eating the chicken, pizza and just whatever they wanted, and I was surprised that Big Brother didn't call somebody to the diary room straight away and say, "Go and collect all the food and put it in the storage room," because they all knew that it was going to get took off them anyway. So why continue to allow them to make food and make dinners and all that and put all the stuff away? It just didn't make any sense. And actually, I don't think it's fair that Big Brother's decided that he's punishing the whole house for her actions once again. It should be her that's getting punished for it, and her alone. It was time for eviction and Dean left. Did he deserve to go? He did. Even though on the grand scheme of things, Lily has been selfish, bogging, childish and obnoxious since day one. However, I don't think that Emma should have been allowed to vote for him because he misses his partner. Big Brother should just not have allowed that. It should have to be a valid reason. So we're on to the Late and Live show, and you know how I love to talk about Will's outfits. So last night I was admiring his suit, and the past couple of nights on Late and Live he's just been wearing like a plain black or plain white t-shirt, and I thought, oh, they've obviously cut down on the budget because the housemates have had costumes to wear this week, so he's just wearing plain clothes. But no, not tonight. So he was wearing this Harvey Nichols suit. I thought, I wonder how much that cost. Let's find out. Here's the jacket. I'm always wondering what the budget is for the wardrobe in this show, but people have said maybe they get it for free for like free advertising. So how much do you think this lovely jacket cost? It was £1,300. Of course, the outfit isn't complete without the trousers. So we've got these lovely plain trousers here to go with the jacket. How much? £845. They must be getting this stuff for free. So anyway, back to the main event. It was time for Dean's interview, and he walked in from outside, and I was like, why are they doing it like that? That's weird. But I was sitting watching this with my friend, and they says, oh, the door wouldn't open. And I was like, oh, I thought they were just trying to like be more dramatic for a change. So he was sitting speaking, and I don't know, I was like shocked, right? I didn't say anything to my friend. I was just sitting like, he comes across as a really fucking arrogant arsehole, right? And then my friend went, why is he acting like a total dick? And I was like, I don't know if it's like nerves or whatever, but he was really coming across as like excessively arrogant. So they were talking about Marcello and the comments that he made about Marcello, and then he said that Marcello makes misogynistic comments, which we've all seen, and he was saying homophobic comments, and AJ changed the subject straight away, and I kind of wish he'd said, oh, what did he say? But they're obviously trying to avoid Ofcom complaints. What I don't understand is, in the first couple of days that he was in the house, he was in the diary room saying, oh, the straight men in here have showed me that not all straight men are vile or not all straight men are bad. So he's stereotyping straight men, and then when he was talking about Marcello, and he says, oh, I don't like masculine men. Now specifically, he didn't say toxic masculinity, he only said masculine men. So he's discriminating against masculine men. And we all know that if Marcello had said anything about gay men or feminine men or anything like it, he'd have been put out the house. So I wish that they would have showed you I wish that he'd have told you, but Marcello said that it was homophobic. Now, I'm not trying to say he didn't say anything homophobic. I probably wouldn't put it past them, but maybe in future interviews, sometimes they get interviewed on TikTok by different people. Maybe I'll actually tell you what he said, but it was interesting how they just changed the subject that quickly. So I was sitting watching this with a friend who doesn't watch Big Brother, and when he was sitting on the panel, my friend was like, oh my god, his sock and shoe combination is an embarrassment. My friend is diehard against white socks with black trousers, right? So this was like a total offence to them. And I was like that, I know, he was slagging somebody for their shoes the other day. When he was on the panel, he was talking about Emma, and he says at one point he looked over and she was sitting talking to Baked Potato, and he was like, oh, that bitch. And people are saying, oh, he's saying that Marcello's making misogynistic comments and he's calling Emma a bitch. I don't know if he meant it in a way where, oh, she's a fucking bitch, or if he meant it in a way that's just like, oh, that bitch, like the way you just say that, you know, like the way you speak to your friends. He's obviously really annoyed at Emma, even though he says he's not. He said the only people he's got to stay in contact with outside the house is Ali and Lily, because they're so genuine. Him and Ali have got a lot in common because they both hate straight men. Him and Lily have obviously got a lot in common because they put themselves on pedestals above everybody else and they're arrogant as fuck, so they'll be like best friends for life. I was really glad to see Maury Thomas tonight because people are saying, oh, everybody wants drama but they want rid of the louder characters. I watched Big Brother USA, Canada, Australia and UK, and you can have drama without people being arrogant, disgusting, selfish cuntbags. Although all Big Brothers have got similarities, they're also really different. And I kind of wish that in Big Brother UK they weren't allowed to talk about politics, because you never hear them talk about politics in other Big Brothers. And I feel like it's just an unnecessary thing to add to the show. Let me know what you thought of last night's episode. I put my 5 votes on Lily, even though I had a feeling Dean was going to go. We may never know for sure, but do you think Marcello has been making homophobic comments? Oh, I meant to say actually, I was loving Ali and Hannah's outfits last night. They were blowing my mind. I love a sparkle. Sorry about the extra long video. I'll try never to do 2 parts again, but I'll see you again on Sunday. That was a lot. Bye.